been 17 years since we did a TaSTA. 17 long years out in the cold. And Spud got COVID for the 19th time. COVID-19. He won COVID. He finally got there. He got there. He got to the last level and won it.
I even actually did a test this time.
Yeah.
I shoved the thing so far up my nose it fucking hurt my eyes.
Yeah. He's actually much happier now because he took the part of his brain that gives him anxiety out
like
when he did
Homer
the test.
Simpson and the crayon, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how was COVID? How could you got COVID? That's all over. That's last year, man. That doesn't exist anymore.
Do you know what? It wasn't great. It really knocked me for 6, as they say over there in the States. I think that's what it means. It means to be exhausted, yeah. And even yesterday evening, I was just wrecked. It really hits you, like walking the dog and stuff like that. You come home and it's like just a normal walk, but you come home and you're like, It's mad because like I was getting mad fit there for ages. I was going on like fucking timing myself. I was doing 5K like in 53 minutes and stuff. It was great and just trying to outdo it every time. And now, no
chance.
I get 2.5 and I'm like,
and is that just the lung thing, is it? The lack of capacity. I see. When I got it, I didn't get the lung thing at all. That just wasn't one of the symptoms. But my friend Enda, he says he couldn't even get up the stairs. Like he had to sleep downstairs.
Sad, yeah.
And he's he plays indoor football. He runs. You know, he's proper, actual fit. Maybe that's the thing because you're don't be fit.
Maybe,
but didn't they say something stupid about that? Not stupid, but something like that. If you smoke, you're less likely to get COVID. And people, oh yeah, but it's only because your lungs are shit, right?
yeah. But also, if you do get it, then it'll be way worse.
Yeah.
Was the thing. But like, yeah, I had like the no taste thing. I didn't eat, like I ate like once a day for like nearly a whole week because I'm just like,
yeah, what's the point?
But you're not hungry as well when you can't taste stuff, you know?
The worst for me was the getting up first thing in the morning and feeling like, you know, you hadn't slept in 3 days after sleeping 12 hours or whatever. But it was like, not even knowing that I had COVID, I just thought, oh, my life is shit. You know what I mean? But then realised and go, oh, yeah. It's that disease thing where you can't smell. That doesn't exist.
Thanks to everyone. Thanks everyone for the birthday wishes. It was very nice of you all. And people sent me presents and stuff like that. So
did you get anything nice? Anything you want to talk about? Or?
Thanks, very nice. No, it's fine. We'll keep that.
Did you get any dick pics or anything interesting? No?
Dick pics? No, I've never gotten I shouldn't say this. Now what's going to happen? Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Never gotten a dick
I'll send you pictures, but of other people's. Not mine.
I had a chick last night actually on Twitter. She's sending me like just weird messages. I thought she was a podcast listener.
Right.
Because most of my followers on Twitter are people connected with the podcast or with the Discord or whatever. So I just like...
better not be rude to this person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't be rude to this person. She might be a fan or whatever. And I thought, okay, her English isn't great. And then you go on her thing and like she lives in Manhattan. So I was like, okay, that's strange. And then like she retweets like kind of interesting stuff. You know, okay, she seems real. It doesn't seem like a bot. And then out of nowhere yesterday she's like, do you have Telegram? Like, nope. Why not? She says, because I don't want it. And that was it. She left me alone since. You know, she sent me like weird Chinese letters.
Yeah, it's bot. It has to be a bot.
I don't know if it's a bot though.
Bot or drugs, one or the other. Yeah, I just kind of assume that if I'm talking to anyone on the internet that they're either a bot, drunk, or on drugs. That's just how I deal with everything.
But yeah, well, anyway, I was just trying to be nice to her, and because I thought she was connected with the podcast or something, or a listener or something like that, and then then the Telegram message, and I went, yeah, okay, no,
scam, yeah. Oh. Are you Russian? Should have been your response.
Why did he use Telegram anyway? What's the?
It's because it's the one that's most prevalent in Russia. That's the big WhatsApp.
I actually looked up a bit about them. It's they came under a lot of pressure, Telegram, because they were somehow connected with the whole Putin regime and all that.
Well, they're a Russian company, aren't they? Or am I wrong in that? I thought that it was.
Yeah, your man is Russian. Yeah. But there's seemingly something now that like through pressure from outside the rest of the world, he's dropped. A lot of media companies in Russia don't have channels anymore, so it's like, okay, he's not part of the establishment then anymore. You know?
I don't know.
Don't know either.
The only time
I just presumed they were
downloaded
that.
it once for initially when Randonauts came out. That was all done on Telegram. It was the only
That's
way you
right,
could do
yeah.
it. Was through so that's the only time I've ever had it. And but it's like, I think it's more, you know what? Well, maybe I use WhatsApp different than other people. I don't have an awful lot of kind of random channels that say an occult channel or a, you know, I don't know, David Bowie channel, whatever it is, you know. But the Telegram seems to have that sort of stuff where you're in a Bowie group, you're in a Metallica group, you're in, you know, Grimoire group or something. So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah.
But most people are.
We're older. That's kind of what our Discord is.
Yeah, or Reddit or any of that thing.
It's the same, like
Or I don't want to talk about this to anyone. Stop. I want to read. Stop asking me questions.
It's the same with like that. I started some new work there, and it's kind of, you can tell that they don't work with emails anymore. So like, like I've threads there, 40, 50, 60 emails going back and forth with people, whereas like it's very, very obvious that they're used now to only working on Slack and Discord.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like when text messages come out, first people would have long things because it cost 10 cents every time you sent it. And then eventually when it became free, it was like NP.
Yeah.
Just reply, yeah, it's not costing me 10 cents.
Over here, we didn't do it in Ireland, but over here in Poland, they used to do like every second word would be in capitals instead of using a space.
What? Oh, right. No, I don't like that. No, don't do that.
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it's annoying.
That's very close to sarcastic talk, though, isn't it? Which is every second letter is sarcastic. If only there was a way. Yeah, I don't like. There's a certain group of people who use full stops, but then don't capitalize at the beginning. I go, and I was going like, why do you do that? And he goes, because I type with one hand. And I went, okay, fair enough. You literally don't have the other hand for the shift key. I was going, but like, it still looks terrible. I don't care.
Are you that busy that you can only use one hand texting?
Yeah, I don't know. What are people doing while they're texting me? You know?
Can you text one-handed on a smartphone? They're too fucking big now.
I assume it's on a keyboard. So because you can just go double tap to get your, or whatever it is.
Phones are too big now, aren't they?
I know. Finesse
They're too fucking wide. Look at the state of that. It's too wide. You can't get your finger the whole way across.
Where's mine? As you can see, my son has made me into a brony.
That's lovely, huh?
Yeah. Full. Yeah, I can. So that's whatever that is. I'm happy with that. That seems I can do all the things. The keyboard's a bit small in that one, though. The first time I've ever experienced it where I fudge an awful lot of the spells where I keep going to go to T and it comes up to V or whatever. It's the close thing. I was going, that never happened to me before. So it's not that I'm old. It's that the phone is the problem.
You're old.
Yeah. Vanessa got an iPhone, the wee mini one or whatever, and I don't like it. It's too small. It's like, I don't know, something wrong with my eyesight or something that I can't see these things. But it's just, I don't know. I'm happy with the semi. I'm happy with my semi. That's what semi's like. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there's no, like, I also have the Kindle tablet thing. So, I mean, if I want to watch something big, I can watch it in that. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't watch much on my phone. I think the screen is too small. But like most people do, and it's even like, you know, the websites I work for is like mostly the people using it are on phones. I'm like, how would you use that website on phone? It'd be a pain in the arse. Like, well,
yeah, it was something I was cause I was looking through different things. A friend of mine got a new Kindle and he wanted to, you know, like a Scanlation, a manga app or whatever. So I was just looking through websites to show him, you know, a tutorial how to set up in your Kindle, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And all of them were done through people reading the stuff on the phone. And I'm going, I can barely see the text on my Kindle. Who's reading this on the phone? But at the same time, what are each panel opening? I was like, no, that sounds like work. You know, I don't want to, like, at least with the comicsology stuff or comics or whatever it's called now, it automatically did the panel by panel thing. But if you're doing like a Scanlation thing, you have to do that manually and go, no, just open it bigger.
Oh, here is Grant Morrison's book any good? I know you got. No, that's a no.
It's 450 pages. I'm 150 pages in it, and I'm struggling with it, I have to say. Spoilers, turn off now.
Do you know what? Yeah. I was mad excited to get it, right? Mad excited. I was going to order, and then I looked it up what it was about, and I went, this is Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk. So
it's very Chuck Palahniuk.
I've read it
or whatever. Yeah, so I literally read nothing about it. I'm not watching any interviews with him. And there's one thing I found out that I wish I didn't. But I say my films, I don't want to know, because if I know anything, I can work it out. Once you know the rules, you can work everything out. There's as simple as that. Like it's a thing. So I tend not to want to know anything. So I don't really know what his underlying theme is, whatever. But about a third of the way into it, and it's essentially about people rehearsing a pantomime. That's it. That's all that's happening. That's it.
Rehearsing what?
Rehearsing a pantomime show
Right.
for 150 pages. So we'll see. I try to read a chapter every night. It's not one of those fun books where the chapters are like 6 pages, so you can take 3 years to read a book if you read chapter night. It's like 30, 40 pages a chapter. So you have to. The last one was kind of, I don't know. We'll see. I'll not make any judgments. I just don't know what the book's about, because it keeps mentioning it as if it's going to be about magic, and then kind of doesn't. So there must be something. We'll see. It's I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting from it. It's like, because like I didn't enjoy any Alan Moore's books either. So it's like they're kind of, particularly Jerusalem. I found very well. The opening to Jerusalem's brilliant, and then kind of goes downhill. Voice of the Fire, I think it worked slightly better as an audio book, but even then. And his new one, Alan Moore's new book, is out next month as well. Have you seen that?
No, what's that going to be about?
It's short stories. I've never been a big fan of short story collection books. I kind of, I don't know what it is. There was just something that never, like or particularly anthologies if they're written by other people, a number of people. I never really got into that. Can you read books like that, short story books or anthology?
Depends. It's I don't like reading short stories of authors I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if it's like Hemingway's short stories, they're fucking deadly. Or what's his name, Stephen King's short stories, or someone like that, then they're great. But if it's just some randomer, you're like, yeah, I could have written better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, but
same with short story books sell about 10% of what a normal book does. Not mad.
Oh, I'd say even less.
Yeah.
There's no market for it. There's no money. You won't get paid or anything like that. Actually, in a lot of stuff now, you have to pay to get published in them.
Really? Right.
Yeah.
The usual.
Yeah. There's even like when I got into writing a bit of poetry there, I went looking to get stuff published, and like quite a lot. I'd say the majority is you got to pay something to get published. Now depends. It might be $20, $10, $5, could be up to 50 or more. But
and what are you getting published then? Like Woman's Way or Poetry Weekly? Or
yeah, it's just other poetry books
that everyone has paid to be in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So it's a scam, essentially.
Yeah, it's a scam. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your work. But then you can say your work is published.
It's what's that called? Vanity Press, though, isn't it? Essentially, like, I mean, all print on demand is probably Vanity Press at this point now as well, though.
Yeah.
Jewel Kilchard, Jewel, the singer. She's the highest paid poet of all time. Not sad.
Right. Who's she?
She's a singer. She would have been out 20 years ago, probably originally. But you'd know a couple of her songs. She's
She kind of country music-y.
Kind of, yeah. There's a kind of thing about it.
Yeah.
And she went very poppy and very I don't know what strange, and then she kind of does other things. I seen her once in concert, really good in the Olympia. I really enjoyed it, I have to say. But yeah, she got a million.
Did you wear a Stetson? Are you a Garth Brooks fan?
No, definitely not. No, and it was close enough on the kind of pop country divide for me to get in on it. It was kind of a bit more folky. Is kind of how I got my brain around it. It's not. It's country pop. Yeah, she got $1 million for her poetry book.
Holy fuck!
Yeah. So that probably is why everyone has to pay for poetry now. They're still trying to pay off the bill from Jules from 20 years ago. Well, I assume she's like, who else is getting $1 million for writing a poetry book at this point?
Yeah,
Bono?
Jesus, no one. Like, who gets £1 million a book? Probably like Stephen King probably gets.
I doubt Stephen King is getting $1 million. I'd say not at this. I don't think he's probably selling as much now as he used to. He probably gets. No, I wouldn't say so. Like, I mean, he's not definitely short of money or whatever. But is anyone buying books? That kind of. It justifies $1 million. Is anyone making $1 million?
He's like Grant Morrison for me. It's like, I'm not mad into his books, but I'll watch every single interview with him. I think he's fucking great crack. Like, fascinating. He's really smart and he's cool.
Understand that. There's people I am more into them as people and their approach to creativity than their actual creativity. Now, I do like a lot of Grant Morrison stuff, but I'd sit and listen to him talk about his books more than I'd want to read his books. I think that's more interesting. That Stephen King book on writing is quite good, where he's talking about the whole how to write, and his thing. But essentially, what he did was locked himself in a room, took cocaine, and wrote books for years. That's what he did. And so, like, that's not going to be a very interesting book.
Well,
Well,
hotel,
maybe.
was that him? Was that who was it? Was it him? He used to go and book himself into hotels in the middle of nowhere, so he'd have nothing to do. Was that him?
Could be. It sounds like one of his books.
I think that was him. So, or maybe someone else, some other big American writer used to do it. Just find a place that was just a shithole, nothing to do, no distractions. Book into a motel and just pound it.
Have you read any Tim Powers books by any chance?
No.
He's really good. He's that kind of magic realism stuff going on. Which magic realism is like not fantasy, so it's not Harry Potter, or it's not magic in the kind of Lord of the Rings. It's like magic in the real world, if you want. Like it's supernatural is a form of magic realism. Constantine is a magic realism as well.
Right. Okay.
He's really good, and he's the closest I've come in fiction to actual magic, where there's a great scene in I've probably said this before, but indulge me, in Last Call, which is a book about a card game like a poker game that involves tarot cards and kind of I'll not say anymore, but that's really good. But incidentally, he was at a conference and they decided they were going to play this game, and he left because no way, no chance, no way am I getting involved in any of that. So he's out.
Really?
Yeah, he said no. Yeah. But there's a great scene in Last Call where they're going around and they're looking for someone, but they're going to follow synchronicities essentially round, and it's just kind of how it's done. And it sounds kind of, if I said, and the road sign or whatever, he does it really well.
Right.
But the whole, whereas like there's still kind of thing like ghosts and spirits, which and people can interact with them in a way that we don't really interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the feel of it is really, that's really, it kind of puts
that sounds cool. Yeah, I reckon I'd like that. Because Harry Potter's awful. They're just terrible books.
Yeah, but they're not. It's fantasy books, and they're kids' books. At the end of the day,
books,
they're kids' books. But yeah, his Fault Lines is his trilogy of Last Call, Earthquake Weather's the third one. What Expiration Date's the second one.
What's and Tim what?
Tim Powers, very interesting. He wrote essentially the book that Pirates of the Caribbean stole everything from, which is On Stranger Tides. So much so that the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean ended up having to buy the rights of the book in order to, in some way, appease. And that's a great book. That's really, really good. The audiobook is brilliant. The guy who narrates it does a great pirate accent. It's almost piratey, Irishy. It's really, really good. So that's worth your time.
There's a good one.
The third one at the minute, of the Fault Lines, I finally got around to it, because they're 20-hour audiobooks, so whatever that is, they're like 600, 700 pages. They're not, they take a while to get through. But I want to read more fiction, because I don't. I've neglected it, and I kind of feel that, it's something. So I decided that I'm only going to listen to fiction or read fiction for the next one, rather than.
Yeah, good, because I mean, I love fiction. Like for me, it's like art. There's oftentimes there's more truth in art.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and it's just something that I've definitely neglected, because I feel like it's I should be reading a real book. That's fuck off Tommie's brain. That's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
You adding books to your wish list there, yeah?
No, I'm looking at the one that I'm reading at the minute. It must be called, I'm trying to think what it's called. Is it this one? Parable of the Sower? It's fairly new. Earthseed, Parable of the Talents? I think this is it, yeah.
Earthseed, is that, what's your one? Le Guin? Is that her? No? Or what's her books?
Let me see.
Ursula Le Guin, is that her? No?
No, Octavia E. Butler. It's about this is it. So it's set in the kind of, it takes place set in 2024 or something, but like, there's been massive ecological catastrophes, and it's kind of like it's
a documentary, is it?
No, it's a documentary, yeah. And it's about this girl who's like has these mystical kind of she doesn't have mystical experiences, but she writes down her kind of mystical thoughts in this little diary while like the world is falling around her. So like they live in this gated community, and outside of it they're kind of like these zombie people, but they're not zombies, they're just dirt poor because the ecology has gone to shit. and it's all about her trying to just survive in this mad world. But she also has these lofty ideals of like, God is. She's trying to figure out what God is really, and like she just comes to the conclusion God is change. That's all he is. That's everything changes all the time. It's malleable, and sometimes he's a fucker, but you just have to kind of go with it. It's good. It's quite if anyone knows the Magia teachings, there's quite similar kind of language in the stuff that she writes in her diary and the Magia sort of teachings.
Right.
Seeds, butterflies. God, stuff like that. No, it's really cool. It is. It's really, really good. I'm not selling it at all, but it's just the end of the world.
Actually, it's good. Yeah. No, tell me no more because if you tell me no more, I won't read it. But if you shut up now, I'll possibly read it.
Okay. No, it's good. It's good.
Shut up. That was very rude. I didn't mean it that way. If you cease to have words coming out of your mouth just for a moment, and So what's that called?
Parable of the Sower.
Parable of the Sower.
Sower. Sower. Sower. Sower.
All right.
Sower. Parable of the Sower. Is that better if I do it in a British accent? Octavia E. Butler.
And has she written anything else? Or he, Octavius?
No idea.
I don't.
Never heard of her. But this came up as one of the best. Every now and again, I'll just put in best science fiction 2020 or 2022 or whatever. And
have you read The Three Body Problem?
She's dead. Oh, she's a long time dead, actually.
All right, so it's just so happens that it's 2024, but written in the 60s.
I had no idea. I thought it was only came out like last year or something.
You noticed that no one had mobile phones, but sure, they're all poor.
Yeah. Why does no one have phones? What's going on?
Yeah. Why should not mention Facebook? What? Have you read The Three Body Problem? That's the best science fiction that's been written since Arthur C. Clarke died. It's really, really good. It's totally worth your time.
Cool.
Three books, and it's like I can't tell you why it's totally worth reading to the third book because it spoils something. But it's I want to talk to you after. Really good. Just to go back to the Grant Morrison thing, it's very Chuck Palahniuk. Is that how that name is pronounced?
Palahniuk.
Okay. You can certainly feel an Invisible Monsters. I was going, this is, and I haven't read anything recent from Chuck. Chuck. I read the Survivor, Invisible Monsters, and Fight Club back in the day. That were the three books he had out.
Yeah.
I think Choke was the one, and I just for some reason I couldn't get it, so I didn't. I think that was kind of last. He's probably written 12 books since then.
Oh, he's written loads of books. Yeah.
But there is that kind of a sense to it as well. But it's just, I don't know, for what's going on in it, and it, like all the gender bending, pantomime, magic-y type thing. I'm a bit bored. And the main character, which isn't Luda or Luda, whatever way that's pronounced, it's grand. It's a cool, decent enough character. The voice is good. It's a fully developed character. I know the person, all of that. Just kind of like, do fucking something. Come on. Other than rehearse this stupid fucking play. Anyway, maybe the next 300 pages are gold. We'll have to wait and see. It's not released in the UK at all, other than the fact that, or Ireland, that Vanessa had pre-ordered it for me for my birthday. I wouldn't have got it here.
Really?
No Amazon listing, no Audible listing. If you want to get the audiobook, it's $18 on Downpour. And you might have to do some VPN trickery with it. Sometimes you do with Downpour, sometimes you don't.
That's funny, huh?
Yeah, but it's the same as the what's his name? John Higgs. His book is only out in the UK at the minute and won't be out until America until next year. They seem to do.
What's the point in this day and age?
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is that to get John Higgs to go around the UK for 3 months to promote his book, and then to go over to America and he can do the promotion bit of it. Rather than having a book come out and then there's no John Higgs on podcasts in America for. But I'm sure John Higgs isn't actually going around the UK. He's sitting in his home office doing podcasts and radio shows. I don't understand it.
But if that was the case, you just concentrate on America because like the English market isn't nothing compared to the American market.
Yeah, I don't get it. But there's obviously a reason because it happens. Like the Alan Moore book, if you look at it, has 2 different covers, one for the UK and one for America. You see things like Rupert Sheldrake's books have different titles, so it could be a rights issue. It could be a rights issue too that there's, 2 different publishers or something. I don't know. I'll not pretend I do. I just find it. I'm glad that I got the John Higgs book, even though I haven't read it yet. That I have the option rather than having to wait, knowing it's out there for 3 months, and you can't read it. So, which would have been the case with the Grant Morrison book, that had it not been pre-ordered, and it came from America too. In the end,
it's a funny thing that like both of us have kind of taken. It's like not, but by not reading spirituality or magic books or mystical books, it's kind of like, I need to take a break from it. But a lot of people are, it seems.
Yeah. There's something.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
I can't put my finger on it either. It just seems that like so many people are just like, I haven't read that in ages, or I'm taking a break from it. Okay, well, what's all happening?
Well, it could be a thing.
Funny coincidence, like.
Yeah, I do. I have noticed it, but I've also noticed that other times I've seen it when I've been, reading 600 books or whatever, and everyone's going, I don't care anymore. So it could be just there is a kind of an echo on where you are as well. But it does seem to be something going on. I think I've worked out for what happened. David Bowie died in January, released a new album 2016, then died, and then the world went fucking weird. Convinced the world has changed since David Bowie died.
You think?
Trump is president. All of that madness happened all after that. Remember that year where that was 2016, wasn't it? Where everyone died. Remember?
Yeah, loads of celebrities died. Yeah.
I'm going out of here before the madness. I've had my bit. Let's leave. The reason I'm saying that is because there's a number of subreddits which I enjoy. I don't believe any of it, but I enjoy. But they're all convinced that the world has changed and something is different in the last 5 or 6 years. And there's part of me that kind of feels that too. So there is a kind of a recognition. I think it's Facebook is what changed, and the non-separation between the internet, and I think that's what actually is because you could look and go, the American election of 2016 or whatever, 2015, 2016, that was never, so in your face as it was. That that's the first time I really noticed it had ramped up. But that's Facebook. That's because I was on Facebook. If it didn't happen on MySpace, back in the day. But I think that's what I think changed. But it has dramatically changed the flavor or the zeitgeist or the whatever it is of the world. That or David Bowie dying.
Yeah, no, I'd have to put it down to Facebook as well. It's so insidious and just terrible. I'm leaving a job soon, and I'm really looking forward to closing my Facebook account.
I'll tell you
that one. I'll have to keep the other one, but that's going to be a nice feeling.
Yeah, switching to the page that I did on Facebook is great. I see nothing on Facebook, and you get a different suite. You don't it's like the Meta business suite that wants you to use.
But look, it's the same with all of these ones, because it's like, when Facebook started, it's the early adopters and the cool kids that have first, and it's all nice, and people are throwing Hillary Clinton at each other and sheep and poking people, and it's fun, it's nice, it's whatever.
What is this? Oh, we can put a picture up. Oh, yeah.
And then your Auntie Nora joins, and you're like, for fuck's sake. And then your parents join, and you have to be friends with them, and it's like, and then my ma has this thing, like she can't see any of my posts, but she sees all my mates' posts, and they'd put up photos of their kids' birthdays and all that, and she comments on it. I'm like, Ma, what are you doing? You don't know these people. I don't even comment on my mates' kids' birthdays. I like my mate. I don't care about their kids.
No, I get
Be
that.
normal. Happy thing. You haven't seen them in 5 years. Well, why? That's why I took down my birthday on Facebook, because you just get people who you don't talk to.
Oh, I did.
Happy birthday, Spud. Yeah. The last
terrible thing on
was a year ago,
Facebook. There's some setting you can put on Facebook that it doesn't it tells people your birthday, but it doesn't let you say it on the wall. So you get 2,000 million, whatever it is, private messages instead. It's like, I did not this year, last year. I was like, oh no, get rid of all of that from Facebook. It's like
it's far cooler to get the messages of people on Discord, because I know them. That's nice. But it's someone I went to school with 20 years ago saying happy birthday that I haven't spoken to since the last time they wished me birthday.
Or said for 448 Ostrich saying happy birthday, Spud.
Yeah. It's weird. People have this thing of trying to keeping up appearances and stuff, and it always boggles my mind, kind of stuff, But but it's that I'm weird about birthdays anyway. There was something yesterday, something put up. I don't know. let's say Albert Einstein. It would have been Albert Einstein's 92nd birthday or 122nd birthday yesterday. No, it wouldn't. He wouldn't have lived that long.
Yeah.
Stop these silly posts.
And also, he didn't live that long. So.
yeah. It's Albert Einstein's birthday.
He's kind of proved the length of time he would have lived by dying.
Long time ago.
Yeah. Satanists, your birthday is the biggest holiday of the year, so you would definitely not be a Satanist. So,
is that right?
Yeah. I guess that's the big feast day is your own birthday, so you celebrate yourself, which I kind of like. But it's like you're getting into dangerous territory of what's my birthday weekend? It's my birthday week. It's my birthday month.
I'm married to one of them.
Just an excuse to do whatever you want for a whole month. But I can have this huge bag of crisps again. Because it's my birthday week. My birthday week. Only, it happens every
also, there's that thing of like, okay, a year has passed, but like, humans have this weird thing is that like, it's as if a year is cyclical, yeah? And it is seasons-wise, but like, we're not where we were. We're billions upon billions of kilometers away from where we were. We're in a totally different part of the galaxy than where we were a year ago. It's not. I don't know. I think we should get rid of dates. All that kind of weird shit. Fuck it, like, why not? We don't need them. What do we need them for? Okay, look out the window. It's cold. Okay, I'll wear a jacket. Do I need to know it's the 2nd of April? Why? Why do I need to know?
Because it's a prison planet, and it's how they enforce rule over by naming you, putting your name on a cert first of all, and then putting you in days and months.
You know me on Twitter. I just use Twitter as a kind of shout into the void. Spud has a stupid idea. He's got to write it. All right.
Well, it's like every day I go, I hope Putin's dead. Yeah, what a prick. Oh, he's not dead. Oh shit. That's Spud's Twitter for Tuesday or whatever.
That's Spud's Twitter. I need to get my daily dose of dead Russians. But that's everyone now in the morning. You just go onto Reddit and you just see Russians dying, and you're like, okay, I'm ready now. And
not if you go to my Reddit, because none. You see nothing on my Reddit. It's like news from 2014 only, please.
So I put up a thing saying I think we should get rid of these 12-month calendars and go to 13 or 28 days later. Loads of people took it really seriously. Right. We're like, how would that work out? I'm like, I have not thought this through at all. I just said something. Fuck! Now I'm being tested on it. Yeah. Morgan was wrote back to me. He's the only person. It was strangers, except for Morgan. And I was trying to work out when Morgan's birthday would be in my version of it. And he didn't like it, which is fair enough.
Yeah. You're messing with astrology, man.
But like, so I'd have so there'd be 13 months, but like the last month would just be Yule, so the Christmas month. And that's when, like, you're only allowed to start the Christmas festivities there. What's his name? Davey, Occult Review Books, Halpin, yeah?
Yeah, David Halpin.
He put up a post the other day. He was in a shop, I don't know, somewhere, wherever he lives. And there was, like, Christmas sweets and stuff already for sale.
Oh, yeah, you can see them. Yeah. TK Maxx has the Christmas decorations in. Or TJ Maxx in America. TK Maxx, yeah. And, yeah, you see them, yeah. I think how it would be if there was no Halloween. How soon Christmas would come in. July. You'd have Christmas stuff in July. That's how it would work. That's it. You go back to school, Christmas. That's it. That's all. That's the second half of the year. But such is life.
Yeah, anyway, the month would be Yule, and you started on the 1st, and you have 28 days of just festivities and fun, and then at the end of it then you'll probably have to
you kill a virgin. Day. Yeah, you kill people, sacrifice to the gods. It can be their choice if they want. There's more, that's better. But if it's not their choice, then, it's a different type of sacrifice, but you can still go with it. And then you start out again. Yeah. The god dies. Paganism. Is that what you're looking for? All right, yeah. We tried that. There was an institution that took all of that away and kept us in this prison planet with days and weeks, name on a cert, all that stuff.
Sometimes I often think, shit, maybe the whole Demiurge thing is right. Fuck. Like, that's shit.
Yeah, it is shit.
It's right. But I don't think it is right. But it's very possible it could be right.
Yeah. Depending on the day, I can, or in the day, I can go. It's like, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not true. And it answers an awful lot of questions. It has to be said. It really does. Yeah. It's satisfying on so many levels other than, it's shit. This is shit. I don't like it. Irish stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I rather than actual Irish words, I thought I'd Google, interesting Irish things, because it's like we're going to just get to the thing where we'll just be pointing out monitor on Monaghan. I just get given random words, so you can just Google. So I just thought let's just something a little more interesting. So these are some words. How would I describe it? 15 of the most beautiful Irish words.
Oh,
ever.
Here we go.
Yeah, not all of them are beautiful, so I might skip a few. So Aisling, which is mostly a name now. I don't know if that travels much outside Ireland. It's in England. It's a British one as well. You see it in Aisling, but I think that's more the Irish population that emigrated. And this word, now popular as a woman's first name, is derived from a poetic genre that emerged in the 17th century.
Oh, that's lovely.
In the poem, Ireland appears to the poet in a vision in the form of a woman. She proceeds to talk about the current state of the nation. For God's sake, the state of the nation. And it was an Aisling. That was where that's where Aisling comes from. And it means a vision, a dream, or an apparition. That's quite nice. An old name for Ireland is Inishfall. And it means island of destiny. Island of destiny.
That's cool.
Yeah. Of course, Bill Clinton used it in a speech in Dublin in 1995 when he was over. He came to my hometown, and there was a party. I got backstage and got free beer, so good for me. And it's totally. If I was,
did you read her emails?
But her emails. I ended up getting Brian Kennedy's manager through me in the end. That was funny. Very strange day. He called me the C word and threw me out. Fascinating day in the history of Ireland and Tommie.
Did you push away his advances, Mr. Kennedy?
No, I mean, so stupid.
You didn't. You didn't push away his advances then.
He was really nice. Brian was really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny. People kept asking him for his autograph for their mothers. But I was there. I was actually videoing a samba band. That's how I ended up being backstage. Whatever. There was a friend of mine who were doing samba for the whole thing, and I started filming Brian Kennedy. Back in the day when that was weird, when there wasn't 60,000 people. Thing, but that's what the argument was over. He was
really,
bootlegging. Brian Kennedy on a shitty VHS camera. No one's ever going to. That when you watch, it's going to have weird colours. It's going to jump up and down. It'd be silly. But anyway, yeah. Inishfall, a poetic name for Ireland that arose in the 18th century and was used by President Clinton in Dublin. It's spelled fail, but it's fall. So we have Madra Rua, which I'm sure everyone knows what Madra Rua is.
Red dog,
but it means fox, which is quite nice.
Oh, Shunnock is a fox.
So is Madra Rua.
Is it? Dude, people say that. Madra Rua, red dog.
Yeah. We would have learned it as Madra Rua, and then I remember telling my dad, and he learned Shunnock.
I learned Shunnock.
Shunnock is the Scouts thing that's done in Wicklow, isn't it? The Shunnock. Yeah, well, it used to be that it's a big hike that the Scouts do every year. The Shunnock, where they make men of you when you're 11.
Yeah. Let's go into the forest with a whole lot of priests. Yeah, we'll be made men of.
Priests were in your Scouts? It was all ex-army dudes and army dudes that were in when I was in Scouts.
Scouts is a Catholic organisation.
Oh, is it? Right. Oh yeah. So Baton Powell, he was big into Baton Powell's. I
went to one Scout meeting when I was about 7 or 8, and I went, nope.
Right. No, I was
no.
I was in the Sea Scouts. It was pretty good, and it was army dudes that were running it rather than priests.
Right.
I like this one, and I'll just kind of skip through it. It's McCree, which is my heart. Okay, McCree. But what it actually means is my beloved. My dearest one, whatever. So which is lovely. So McCree, my heart. It's like you're wearing your heart on the outside. All of that kind of stuff.
Oh, Musha McCree. Probably heard that one.
Spell check will try to change it to chloride. Be careful. Ulta means drunk. So much more poetic than Langard, Stocious, Blotto, or Addled. I don't know if it is, to be honest.
Polluted.
I quite like Langard and Stocious. Although Stocious is like...
I like Butchered.
Hammered. That's the one I would use. He's hammered. Does that travel? Would you have had hammered?
Hammered,
yeah. Let me see. Saoirse. Freedom. It's the
Saoirse Ronan, yeah.
Uachtaráin. I remember Uachtaráin means the present, but I remember I was at an Irish school, one of these like kind of summer schools that you went to, and I was like my Irish, terrible, but they did a quiz or whatever, and someone one of the questions was who was the present, but it was us Gaeilge, so whatever, Colin on Uachtaráin, whatever, and the answer that they got back was HB, and everyone's going what? And what they actually thought the question was, the kids, was who invented ice cream? Uachtaráin. So they said HB invented ice cream, which on many levels is it's so Uachtaráin and Uachtaráin, not to be confused. Ishkabaha, that's the last of this, which is the water of life, which is whiskey. You a whiskey man, Spud? Excuse me.
No, yeah, I used to be. I don't. No, not anymore. I don't mind drinking whiskey, but I wouldn't drink whiskey if I'm out because I get too drunk. I don't get rowdy ranting, but I'm just plastered. I need to go home. So if I'm home and get drunk, it's okay. I just go to bed.
Yeah,
you know?
I can get rowdy in vodka. I haven't really drank whiskey. One night I had Southern Comfort. That's whiskey, right? Yeah.
Is it?
Is it? Yeah, you see, that's what I mean. Yeah, and I had a good night. But anyone I know who drinks whiskey's an asshole. So, so I've never really got into it. Also, it's like, it's like, it has that kind of methylated spirits taste to me that brandy has as well that I just can't get in. It's like, like my mum loves brandy.
I drink whiskey, but I wouldn't drink Scotch whiskey. So one of my mates is mad into Scotch. Well, he is half Scottish, but it's like, some of the stuff, it's like drinking bog water, peaty turf water. That is smoky bog water. Yeah. And you like this? What? I like great Scottish. No, Scottish whiskey, shite.
Yeah, but no one drinks alcohol because they like the taste of it. I mean, I had this debate with Vanessa, and she goes, "No, I do like taste of it." I goes, "No, you don't, because if you did, you would wake up in the morning and go, down some vodka. I'm so thirsty. Get the vodka in."
Yes and no. I mean, I'll drink any beer.
Yeah, I can like it within the frame of drinking alcohol, but
I prefer the nice craft beers, the nice IPAs and APAs and IPAs, APAs,
milk
whatever.
or something. Something that actually tastes nice. Water, Coke.
You want to try and translate something for me? I had to do some Irish there last week. TG4 wanted me. They wanted me to do a thing, and
TG4 is the Irish national TV.
A TV channel, yeah. So
who were almost going to do a documentary with myself and yourself at one point, other than wanted to change everything about it and not have us in it. So
something like that, yeah. Something like that, yeah. But what did they say to us? It was like,
oh yeah, we'll do it, but not that way and not with yous.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Because we couldn't speak. It was just because we couldn't speak Irish. That was essential.
Yeah. That was it. They wanted an Irish director and stuff like that, and say, well then we weren't arsed looking for people to do it. Really, we had put so much work into making this. Is right? Yeah, no, enough.
That's enough. Yeah, it's enough. Yeah. I had to do it in Irish. You're mad.
Let's see if you can translate this. So
hold on, before I'm going to predict no chance, but let's try it.
All right. Bull mail le ban céile I Dunedin, bhí sé gobar ann fé an saoirigh ag sébháil airige don choláiste. Agus bhí mé ag ól le roinn cóide agus búl muid cóisín tí.
Okay. She's working because she wants to go to college. But I was drinking.
Yeah, that's in there, yeah.
Yeah. What's the first line again?
Bull me le ban céile I Dunedin.
So I want I met my girlfriend in.
There you go. Met my wife.
In Dunedin, wherever that is.
Edinburgh. Bhí sé over.
She was working.
Ann far on Saoirigh.
She was working far on Saoirigh. I didn't know that.
What's Saoirigh? Time of year. Sauna.
Summer? Is it? No.
Summer, yeah.
Yeah.
She was working there.
She was working there for the summer. Yeah.
Okay. Ag sébháil airige don choláiste.
To save her money for college.
Yeah, and agus bhí mé ag ól.
I was drinking.
Lemonade, cóide.
Lemonade, is it?
No, lemonade cóide.
Oh, with my friends. Yeah.
Agus búl muid cóisín an tí.
And we met cóisín an tí. Don't know.
What's a tea? Bannon tea. What's a Bannon tea?
Oh, house.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
house party.
Oh, a house party. Right, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
That's
done,
not too
Tommie.
bad. That's not
was
too
good,
bad.
man. That was good. Yeah, well done.
Yeah. Omal cadogum dul gachi han lehrish.
That's I had to record Aga saying that as well.
That's not too bad. Yeah, more impressed with it than I think we probably have more Irish than we probably think we have. You know,
Probably,
if
yeah.
you're
You just
dropped
need,
in.
you need. You know what? I reckon if you got into like a 2 or 3 week really intensive kind of course, a lot of it will come back to you and you'll be grand.
Yeah.
You know.
Irish fact. This is a class one, and I hope I haven't done it before. Sex equality in the workforce. In 1976, the Irish government was rapped on the knuckles for failing to comply with the European Economic Community guidelines by implementing the agreed sex equality legislation. The EEC is the original EU. The Irish government immediately advertised to fill the position of an equal pay enforcement officer, but the advertisement offered different salaries for men and women. Classic Ireland.
Classic Ireland. Oh my God.
Yeah. True story. So that's my view. Any Irish or facts or anything or do it?
No, I don't.
Grant, where are we? 46 minutes. We were going to talk about the role of where spirituality should be in your life, I suppose. But there's probably a longer than. Should we leave it for the next time?
Oh, no, we can natter. We're all right.
Okay. Just because we were a bit late because Spud was getting his life together beforehand. Yeah. So it's just kind of the question that's kind of over the last while. It was kind of without, indulging in my misery of things that's going on with me or whatever. It's just kind of going, where is the proper place that you should kind of situate all of this that we talk about on the podcast? How much of your life should it be, and how much should the focus be on it? Like even down to simple things like why is all my books I'm reading spiritual books? That can't be good, and I think there is kind of a separation where I'm talking about a normal person's life as opposed to someone who's a teacher or someone who's doing this as a vocation, as a thing. It's like, how important is yoga in your life? Well, it's more important to be a yoga teacher than it is to someone who's just doing yoga. Becomes part of their life. But I did find for me that I'd taken too much of a center stage in many ways, and that certainly isn't good. And it's kind of in one way, it's just a thing that I was thinking about it recently. It's almost like what's happening is that you're concentrating too much on this to the neglect of actually living your life. It's in a way giving out to your child because you're trying to concentrate on reading an article about how to be a good parent.
Yeah.
So it's like
exactly that.
Yeah. So and it's that kind of, and it's easy. It's an easy trap to get into, whatever. But it's particularly what I found. What was happening with me is, I was becoming, I wasn't doing anything, and it was like it became all about the stuff, the spirituality, the meditation, all that. But it wasn't really then. It was almost, in a sense, a way to avoid life. Although not very much in the kind of classic way of doing that, but it was like kind of going, yeah, but what are you doing? It's kind of defining yourself in a one-dimensional kind of way. And the way some people kind of do it with like their job, or to do it with their, say, well, that's, I'm a business person. That's who they are. That's their entire personality. Or their sexuality, where it's like someone who only talks about having sex with women all the time. And that's it. That's their entire personality, or whatever it is. Or your entire personality is your religion, which is that's not as many in Ireland, but it's still, you still see it, and you certainly see it in America at the minute. Or let's say Iran, or one of these places that is erupting at the minute over, just kind of defining yourself in a one-dimensional thing. But it's kind of, I don't know where the balancing line is, or where, and I don't think there is one. I mean, it's come back to, we talked about Gnosticism or whatever. It's like, ask me on the day, I think it kind of moves with where you should be. And sometimes you have to, give into a more meditative practice than not, go on your retreat for 2 weeks of silence or whatever. Not that I've ever done that. I'd never come back if I did. Just go into the forest for 30 years, come back with antlers and the secrets. But one of the other things I was kind of, and well, maybe before I get into that, but well, you definitely seem to have a better balance in it than I would. I remember you saying to me, Tommy, when we don't talk about this in the podcast, I don't really think about any of this at all. Meditate, that's it. Read a book, that's it. Yeah. You think that's because you had a more kind of firmly established other habits, and then you get into this, whereas this is something I've had for a long while, that it kind of, became part of my identity in a sense.
Probably. Would have to be. But like along the lines there, like I fell into that trap of like, oh yeah, I should teach this stuff, I should do this, because, you had these weird mystical visions and you're like, oh yeah, my God, woo, I should do this, I should that. And you're like, nah. Nah, I mean, I could do it, but I don't. There's other things I'm more suited at or whatever. No, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I can't really explain it. Like there were times where like you're reading 3 or 4 books at the one time, all about spirituality and mysticism or magic or whatever, and it's like, okay, this is getting a bit too much. But it's like, okay, no, I want this knowledge. Whereas now I'm at a thing where I'm like, I can kind of take it or leave it if a book comes on my radar, because I can say, yeah, well, that's just saying the same as that, or that's just saying the same as that, or that's just saying the same as that. I'm more kind of into the, what do they call it in Magia, the golden thread of everything, rather than stuff, the perennialism of stuff, even though that's become a dirty word, which is fucked up for me. You know what I mean? But like,
dog whistle. It's a dog whistle, man. You're dog whistling though.
Yeah, well, no, but that thing where like Ricky Gervais is making fun of or he's been joking about being an atheist, and he's like, well, my God does this and da 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 da, and his answer is, yeah, but like, there's 2,000 gods and yours is one, so I'm just saying that you don't think that 1,999 exists, you just think that one exists, and yeah, well, it's just one more for me.
Well, one more, yeah.
Whereas like I'm like, no shit, they're all just part of one. Is my thing, and all these teachings. The way I've kind of come to see is that all these teachings, they don't necessarily all fit together nicely, but on a higher kind of thing, they do actually all kind of fit together. So you can pick up a book on Islamic mysticism, or a book on Buddhism, or a book on Western magical stuff, and it's. At its base, it's all kind of saying the same fucking thing if you can read between the lines, So that took me a while to figure out, though. But when I did figure it out, then I was like, oh, okay, I can let this kind of be a bit freer now, because I don't need to just concentrate on needing to know all of the Telema stuff, or I need to know all the Hindu stuff, or I need to know all the Buddhist stuff. No, you don't really, because they're all pointing at the same thing anyway.
But there is kind of a notion, I suppose, that it becomes a kind of vocation or something with people, and it's one of these kind of traps. It's kind of, how do I turn this into what I do? In the same way that when you get into yoga, so many people want to become then the yoga teacher, rather than just enjoying yoga for what it is and giving it the benefits and the thing to accentuate or expand your life. Rather than it becoming your life. And I think it is a trap in spirituality where it becomes people's lives. And it's certainly, it's not the whole case. So I don't want to say that that's what happened, because there's a lot of other factors going on in that. But it was certainly one of those things where it's kind of where I felt, particularly because there's a kind of a publicness to what I do, and a certain kind of form where we do this podcast. There's a website, there's a fucking brand, whatever. There's felt like that. Not only had I fallen a bit for the trap of it becoming my life, I'd be defined by it, but I also felt trapped with it because I thought I had to. Or that's the thing that's sustaining this.
It's the curse of being an influencer, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, please.
I know. Sorry to use that word, but that's
and it is, and it's like how awful. Like in the very limited kind of sense that I have, and you feel, I assume at times too, that how must it be if you have 1 million subscribers. And you play like you're a gamer and you hate Call of Duty.
You're pigeonholed.
Oh, whatever. But like you're the Call of Duty guy.
What's that dude's name? Ryan something. He writes these books on Stoicism. Like, he must be so fucking sick of Stoicism at this stage, because he's so pigeonholed into it. And he's written like 2 books on it or something. But like, every day or two, he's still flogging that dead horse of putting out stoicism videos. It's like, dude, you've said everything by now.
But
What the fuck?
but then you've other people like Red Pill Junkie, which, you know, take or leave his books, whatever, but he has diversified himself so much he can write a book essentially about anything, which is in one way is kind of, you end up writes books about anything, you know, which is kind of, but so it's just that kind of feeling trapped or whatever in how I was defining myself and who I thought it was meant to be and all this kind of stuff. But I also noticed what was happening as the form of spirituality that I had developed wasn't really mine, in a sense. It was like and it's not other people's either, because I mean it's an amalgamation of other people's thoughts that I had put together in my own particular way. But what it felt like was a very sterilized, vapid, boring magic. In that it was like it had become. Think of the whole thing when you think of magic and the excitement. Oh, magic. And what it was, sitting on the floor trying not to think. That's a bit boring. That's not what I signed up for or whatever. But and then that thing I was talking about in the video, I don't know if you watched it, the last vlog. But the directionality thing, that's certainly that feels that an awful lot of stuff I was into was kind of trying to bring me, and it's not literally that directional, but it's the only way to describe it, was trying to bring me back. And that felt trapping as well, because I was going like, that's not how I feel my trajectory is. And it kind of, I don't know, it's very hard to describe this stuff because you sound like a lunatic, or you sound...
No, I get you, because there's so many things, and they're kind of pulling you in all these different directions, and you just end up, you know, being like this tiny bit of butter that's scraped too much across things.
And you can
Lord of the Rings, and you're like, I'm exhausted doing all these fucking things. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be aiming at awakening or aiming at fucking being one with himself upstairs, and I'm just wrecked by overthinking everything. I need to step away.
Yeah, but then even that you were saying you're aiming at awakening and stuff like that, I was going, well, of course, that's what I was and all that. And I go, that's actually not what I'm interested in. And that was kind of an eye-opener for me. And it's kind of go, no, that's kind of like if you want to write music and say, write songs, that's like the music theory. It's not the fucking song, you know. And it's kind of it's like that I became obsessed with the music theory and stopped playing music.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And it's like, and also the thing with the kind of obsession or whatever, if that's the right word, I'm sure it is, the will to awakening and all that. Awakening is fucking useless to you. Absolutely. Like, it's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
And like, so the amount of energy to be put into that to something that's not going to help you in any level, that's not true. But it's true enough that it's true.
But it is true, because you know, if you have some sort of awakening, then you realise, shit, fuck, oh, now I have to become a good person as well. Fuck, I should have been doing that all the time. You know, that's the thing. Like, awakening, people have this idea that you're going to be something different when you're awake, and anyone I know who's awake aren't different. You know, they still have,
and it doesn't help any of your problems. It doesn't help Spud in any way. It helps some part of Spud that's probably not Spud, but or maybe whatever way you want to look at it. Again, ask me on different days, and I'll have a different answer to that. But it's like, to the things that I'm trying to fix, if you want, why I feel sad all the time, doesn't help me at all. Even down to, it's like in some ways can hinder you, apart from, or make things worse, in apart from realizing that you can't be shitty in the way you used to be shitty, and or having an excuse for it or whatever. Things like when you kind of step past a thing that you know, like say the stream entry or becoming invincible, whatever, so you can't go back. So it kind of takes away an awful lot of your ways of dealing with things, or your coping mechanisms. And in a very, I'll give a very too large thing. I don't know, the word's not coming to me, but like that, there was always kind of a sense of me that no matter if things got really, really bad, that I could just fucking bail out of here. Done. You know, leave the world, whatever way, you know. And it's like, when you have the awakening, that's not on the table anymore. That's gone. That's just not something you can do, because it'll either make things much worse or you're just back where you were. So, and in one way, that kind of your coping mechanism of going that if it gets bad enough, I can leave. When you go, I can't fucking leave, that's worse. You know, because I have to deal with this now. And the same thing happened when I had when I had my son. takes that off the table again as well. That can't be a coping mechanism because you just can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, of course.
Simple as that. Can't do it. That's not something you can do anymore, or even contemplate. And so it's then finding and good, because that shouldn't be how you cope with the world or whatever. But it's kind of the comfort or something in that's gone, that it makes it a bit more like that. In your periods of darkness or whatever, that you go, and I can't even fucking get out of it in any way, so that there is a harshness to it as well, which is, it's like a safety valve, and it's going to get harder, but you've lessened your ways of getting out of it in a destructive kind of manner. So I don't know, it's just kind of what I've just decided, I suppose, what I've mentioned earlier on is the kind of I'm going to read fiction for a while. I'm just not going to. What I ended up doing, yeah.
Do you know what? I figured out now what it is for me. It's that I was lucky enough to kind of have the kind of notion early on that, like, I'll put it the other way. When people read spirituality books, they can take them far too seriously is the wrong word. They can give it too much weight.
Okay.
And they can buy into it, right? But, like, it's good to remember that, like, just close the book and have a look. There's a name, like someone wrote that. All this stuff is just opinion.
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's no facts here. There's none.
Yeah.
So remember that.
Yeah, even in work that's purporting to be channeled by the divine, take that obviously with a grain of salt. Because it's still going, even if if that's a true thing that's happened, it's still going through the lens of someone else, and it's still going through the filters of someone else. There was a huge orb right there beside me.
I was like, what the fuck is he looking at? He's like,
oh, big orange thing, whatever that was.
But as well, to counter that is that, like, well, in everything that I do here, spirituality wise, now I'm talking about, my opinion is the most important.
Okay.
That's something you have to learn yourself, because it's your personal experience.
Yeah.
But occult experiments in the home, Duncan Barford stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but how do you know that you're not just playing a role, say, like, that kind of.
Why? Well, because if you're doing, in my experience, if you're doing your meditation practices properly, you'll eventually get to see through that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you might see it now, but in 6 months, in a month, whatever it is, then you'll see something,
But just like, say, how do you counter that, or not counter, how do you put that with, say, the Magia thing of that you are not the best person to know what's good for you?
How do I know I'm not the best person?
No, well, that's one of the things that my Magia would say, that you are not, that you have to let, like, particularly with, say, inviting a shadow and all that you're not. Yeah. You're not the person to decide what's the thing you're working. You're not in the best position. Do you agree with that? Not agree. Maybe you just don't agree with it, like. Because I don't know what you're.
I don't know. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I'm an idiot. I don't know what's best for me. You know what I mean? So there's often times where you're just like, oh, geez, the last 2 weeks, my fucking life's been mayhem with stuff that's going on, and there's been like times where I'm just kind of going, it's too much for me. Can you look after this for a while? Because it's doing my head in, and then you're like. And then you're just kind of going, why am I letting this wreck my head? Because, it's important because I need X, Y, Z, And then you go, do I need it? Yeah, actually, no, I do need that. But do I need that? No, I don't need that. Do I need this headache? No, I don't fucking need this headache. So that's gone. Go away, Yeah. And then you just surrender that off or pass it on to beloved, whatever it is, whatever you believe in. And then just come back and kind of calm down about it again. Am I making sense?
Yeah, no, you're making sense. The reason why I'm kind of pushing is because that's the thing I do kind of struggle with in that balance between those two things, which is, your word is law, but also you mightn't be the best person to know what's good for you. Because I definitely can fall into the thing of not allowing shit to happen because thinking that that's what has to happen or that's the best thing for me, and kind of, as I've talked about before, reacting to life rather than gripping it. I don't think gripping life. Yeah. And it's like there's a part of one of the problems I have is that thing of creation, potentiality, chaos, that thing, I'm not engaging because I've the feeling that this other thing should be looking after that, and that my life, so I'm just living my life, allowing it to happen, reacting to life or whatever, rather than actually engaging in it. So that's a problem.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. There's a subtle difference, but I see,
and so
I
it's in that thing between my word is law and I'm not the best person, and so it's whatever that is. And I think I've too much the other way, where I'm just kind of going, if it's for me, it'll happen. Yeah, but you could still go for it now. It's just like, so it's like, why would I do a sigil for something? Because if I do it and it's not something that's for me, then I'm fucking things up. And if I don't do it and it's for me, it would happen anyway. And I don't think that's right. I just don't think it's right.
I don't think that's right either. Like, you have to, you only miss the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
So like, if you think you're not going to win the lotto if you don't play the lotto.
Yeah. And it's also the thing of that, you have to decide who you are rather than letting the world or the spirits or whatever tell you who you are. And I'm letting, because I still, while I've still done the divine, I'm still, handing truth over externally. Still doing it in that only to spirit rather than people. And it's like kind of, yeah.
Well, I think Tommie, I think Tommie, then sometimes the best way to look at situations then would be to say, right, you're in a situation, what would the best Tommie do now? And go with that. And that you're not going to go far wrong then, like.
Yeah, but with the motto thing I have, I know what you're saying. I'm not discounting that. I do, with the best version of yourself, which is what the master is in the 47th. Anyway. It's that thing of whatever it takes to stay alive. Do the thing, rather than what your duty, rather than what you think you should be doing, rather than it's doing the thing that is the right next move for you.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a chess game. Make the next best move.
Yeah, rather than trying to allow. It's like, let me see if I can explain it better. So it's almost as if my life is so given over to spirit, to divine, whatever it is, whatever. And so whatever happens is the will of divine. It's for my benefit, ultimately, even if it's shit. And so it's that thing I've talked about the surrendering thing, which let's not spend 6 weeks on that. But it's. I'm not in that situation. It's kind of negates Tommie as a person, because it's not. But I also know it's true because of how creation happens. Like, the things arrive and you just have to get out of the way of it as well. That's how a song comes. A song comes and you have to kind of find it. Remember it rather than create it. There's all of these kind of things, but it just feels like I'm not deciding what I want, because what I want is irrelevant. It doesn't matter what I want, because how would I know what I want? And so that I don't even try to get what I want, because I think it's the wrong thing. Because if it was the right thing, it would have happened. And that's no way to live.
No,
it's a valid conclusion to come to, given the type of things that it's talked about and described in the Western magical tradition.
I could see how someone could get to it all right. But you still have to, someone puts a Mars or a Snickers in front of you, you still have to decide which one you want.
Snickers,
and look, I know. I think differently than you. I'm more black and white than you are. You're an artist. You see all the colours. I don't see as many. You know what I mean? Hey, I live with one as well. No, she thinks the same in a very similar way as what you would. Stuff like this. I'm much more black and white, and I can say no or yes. But there's often times where I'm just like, oh, fucking. The last couple of weeks was awful on my head, but just to kind of have the wherewithal to say, okay, just let this go, and it's not that it'll sort itself out, it's that I can't sort this now, and by breaking my head and fucking getting frustrated over it, that will not help.
No.
So right, let's stop this for half an hour, come back to it, go for a walk the dog, fucking wash the kids, whatever it is to do, like engage in actual life. Living in your fucking head. That's a problem with just all spirituality too much. It leads to everyone living too much inside their own head and just becoming fucking narcissists.
And second guessing, and there's a trap in it. There's a huge trap.
There is a real massive trap in it.
And also thinking that you have to think. That's a big one for me. Thinking that I have to think the way other people think, and it's like, no, I don't. Because it's like, It's like you saying that's the way, you know, you said we think differently. But I think I'm wrong and I should think more like you. But
don't do that.
You know,
Jesus, don't do that.
But it was like it's a form of that thing that when you know, whatever you think of the typology stuff, when we were doing the INFJ stuff and all that, and all that came in, and it's going like there was an allowance in that to go, oh right, it's not that I have to work on this, it's just who I am. That was a huge relief to me. But it's a form of that I'm not allowing myself to be who I am. You know, it's like, oh, I need to find myself, man. But I do honestly think I do need to find myself a bit, and that I've lost myself.
What's this come from? Does this come from school where you're not allowed, or from home where you're not allowed to be who you wanted to be? Or
yeah, it's from family stuff. Yeah, it's that the only thing, truth could only exist if it was allowed by the other members of the family. Yeah, without getting too much into all that. I'll talk to you off air. But it's
no. I know exactly what you're going through. What it is, because like even like in school, like I remember. Like my parents didn't let me do art in secondary school. After first year in secondary school, I fucking loved art, loved doing it. I could have been good, but no, I had to stop after my first year. After I was 14, I haven't done art since I was 14. You know, and I loved it.
Wow.
And there's other stuff as well. Like I was made to do just other subjects after like the junior cert and stuff like that I didn't want to do. You know? Because this is the one that gets you a job. I don't want to be an accountant. I was good money in it. What?
Yeah.
Fuck is money? Fuck about money. So I want to be in a rock band, man.
No chance.
You know, but stuff like that. No, not just parents and stuff like that. But it's just kind of, I don't know. Similar enough. I think when you grow up in rural Ireland, it's all about everyone. Teenagers are like this anyway. Everyone kind of has to be the same. You know, we all want to have the short haircut. We all wear the same uniform. We all want to be good at football. I was never into that. I was always like, no fucking way. I have to be fucking different here. Do you know?
Yeah.
But what was the point I was saying? No, the point was like, yeah, I know exactly what this means, because you're just not allowed. Look, it ended up with me just having to fucking leave home. I was out 2 days from being 18. I was like, I'm out here. Look.
Yeah, it's bad. I
had to go.
A week before I was 18 when I moved out there. Yeah. Our lives are so similar. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is mad. Yeah, very, very similar. Yeah. And but yeah, like if I'd stayed at home, my relationship with my parents wouldn't have lasted. There's no way. Like there's no way. It felt too. And the thing is, right, is that they honestly were doing their best. So they thought this.
Yeah.
You know?
And like that's so hard to agree with.
It is hard because
it's true. It's a true story. Yeah.
Your early 20s are like fucking so angry at them because like life could have been so differently if you had been allowed to blossom.
Yeah.
But you weren't, and just this anger and hatred towards them. Even though, like, then you realise later, oh fuck, shit, they were actually their heart was in the right place, like, you know, and then that's something you have to let go of, which is fucking hard.
Not necessarily the heart, like, I'll push back a bit on the heart in the right place, in that that's what they think is right, which is slightly different than the heart is in the right place. That's what they're told the world is, how it works. So they're trying to put, you know, you in.
Hey, well, okay, yeah, well, maybe, but I can only make the case for my own dad.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. So I'm speaking. Yeah. Yeah. In that it's an awful lot. I'd say this more generally in Irish. There's no Irish people. There, in a certain generation, there was an awful lot of what the neighbours think. You know, where it's keeping up appearances and that. So it's rather than the heart being in the right place would be, I want what's best for my son. Yeah.
You know, it's the whole thing. Like, look, your kid has to go to college to do this and all that. Blah, blah. That's absolute bollocks. If your kid wants to be a plasterer or a plumber, fucking send him off, because he'll be richer than the kid who goes off and becomes an accountant.
Yeah, sure. Isn't the bin man high paid job? Stuff like that.
Geez, I remember. When I left Ireland, I think a bin man was getting 18 or 20 euros an hour. It's probably double that by now.
Yeah.
They make a fortune.
Yeah, that is like, but it's like, you know, it's no prestige. You know, what would the neighbours think? You know, and it's like
prestige getting 40 quid an hour.
I know, yeah. Guy, 6 holidays a year. Yeah. There's a great kind of a thing. I suppose I can draw this to a bit too close because we could go on forever about this. But it's an interesting. But Sandman coming back on Netflix, and I've been listening to the second audiobook as well. It's really good. You should. The audiobooks are really good. They're not they're plays, they're dramatizations. So It's done well. James McAvoy does Sandman. It sounds very similar to the actual guy on Netflix as well, but there's a slight difference. But it's just I was thinking about Neil Gaiman and stuff like that, and his speech that he gives, when everyone is invited to give some sort of speech to college people leaving.
Right,
So it's his one, and he's talking about the whole idea, and he brings up the mountain. Have you seen it? Do you know the one I'm on about?
Yeah. I remember this one. Yeah.
So it's for people who haven't seen it. It's talking about that how to orientate yourself in your life is you're walking towards a mountain, and you have to see if the decisions you're making are bringing you closer to your mountain or away from your mountain. And in some cases, decisions that look like they're going away from your mountain, like say you want to be
a welder.
A welder, and then someone goes, well, you come over here and help me with a bit of carpentry, and you go, oh, well, that's further away from my mountain. But you have to gauge, does it ultimately lead you to your mountain? So there's like kind of split decisions. He explains it much better than I can, much more eloquently with his wonderful voice and great hair. But it was like, that kind of sticks to me or whatever. And it's interesting then that the whole symbology of the mountain, of course, is in Magia. And Magia, take it from, it's not just from Magia. And it's kind of going, right, so I found a mountain and goes, shit, it's the wrong mountain. It's someone else's mountain, and that's where I kind of feel I was at someone else's mountain, and I go, right, okay.
But when did you realise this though? This is recently, or
it's probably really been festering since Duncan Barford's podcast about magic and art, and just going, I don't think the way other people are, and I didn't realise that. That what I think magic isn't what other people think it is. And that's kind of, then I went through a period of going, am I wrong? And I go, no. I think kind of that made me feel trapped because I felt I kind of had to fit in with other people's views. And this is all me. Duncan wasn't making me do this at all. And then, say fit in with your views. Or is there a particular TaSTA view that we're meant to have? And, it's kind of going that the awakening thing. It's like, yeah, it kind of feels like in a sense, it's a misstep or something, that was where my trajectory was in not in a full way, because I think it's important, but in that was it became more my focus than actually being Tommie Kelly, the artist, the musician, the whatever it was, that, and it's like, yeah, I was aiming at the wrong mountain. That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, you know it now.
Yeah, just have to sort it all out. It's because even today I was kind of there's something that was coming up, and because we're doing the Days of the Saint, which the way I kind of do is I essentially come down and talk to them for 10 minutes about what's annoying me, which is how I talk to all of these people that are probably sick of me, and I was just kind of what would it take for me to feel it's not validated, isn't the right word, to feel authentic, to feel real in who I am. What would have to happen? And I don't know the answer to that. Like, I don't feel I'm an actual real artist. I don't feel like I'm an actual real musician. I don't feel I'm an actual real anything. That it's kind of, I know it's not exactly the Dunning-Kruger or the what's that thing where imposter syndrome. It's not quite that, but it is. It's but obviously I have that because everyone does. It's like there's nothing I could do that would make me more a musician than what I'm doing. I write songs, I record songs, I do all the things. I do all the things that a musician does. Why do I not allow myself to actually feel like one? That I feel like I'm bluffing. I'm going to get caught out. There is a bit of imposter, but it's more than that. There's a guilt and a shame to it that I have to unpack a bit more. That pervades everything I do. Yeah. How much do you charge for this therapy anyway, Spud? What is it?
Catholics, man. They really screw us over on that fucking rainy island, don't they?
But it's like even
weighed down by guilt, all of us.
Yeah, and there's loads of stuff we could talk about it, but it involves people that it's not for me to tell the stories. So I'll talk possibly off air. Not today, because I'm sure I've bored you to death with my innards. But, so yeah, where's the balance? I'm not really sure. There's so much going on in that. Like I think meditate every day. I think just do that.
I don't know if there I don't know if there is a balance, because you see, I'm probably on the other side. I probably don't do enough of it, even though I meditate every day with the thing I'm involved in now, and that's great. It gives me the discipline to do it. But like for me, it's that like, fuck, I have to. I don't want my head. I love reading, but I can't have my head stuck with a book all the time.
Yeah.
Because I want to. Even though I do read every night, like with I get reads her book, I'm reading my book. We sit in silence usually, just reading our books, and it's happy out.
Yeah.
But also as well, it's that like, there's life going on. Like just fucking interact and try and be part of what's going on. And like I'm an awful fucker for being too in me phone or whatever, but trying to just catch yourself is like, no, fucking put down the phone. Jesus Christ, doesn't matter. I can't kill Putin. I wish I could.
Yeah, I think if you're all you're reading spiritual books, then that's probably not good. If all you're watching is spiritual documentaries, that's probably not healthy or good. It's at that level. Because you put up something about it, and it was, I don't know, some book on Twitter you were reading it, and I was going like, Jesus, I forgot you can read fiction books. That's a thing you can do. Wow.
Yeah. I think
balance.
Just try and keep an eye on yourself. General use, not you, Tommy, because it's like, well, okay, the weather's getting shit now. Winter's not that far away, but like autumn's kind of nice for walks. So just go for a fucking walk every now and again. On your own. Clear your head. It's great. Hug a fucking tree when no one's looking. I do that.
When they're looking. Who cares? Who cares what other people think? Me.
Let's go. It's like the young fella. Let's go.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.